Someone said their name. You heard it. And then, within seconds, not minutes, seconds, not blurry, not hard to pull up, just completely absent, like your brain caught it, held it for exactly as long as it needed to seem polite, and then quietly let go. And the instinct, the automatic one, is to assume you just weren't paying attention, that you didn't care enough, that something about the way you move through the world means people just don't fully land with you. That's the story most people tell themselves about this. And it's almost completely wrong. And here's the thing most people assume about this. They think it's a stranger problem, a new people problem, something that happens at networking events or first days of work and gets better once you actually know someone. But some of you have a coworker you've sat next to for 2 years and still feel a half beat of hesitation before saying their name out loud. You've had real conversations with them. You know their opinions. You know something about their life. You'd recognize them in a parking lot from 50 feet away. You've probably been around them for weeks, months, before their name ever really stuck. And even now, some mornings, there's still that half-second pause. You just hesitate. Some of you have a neighbor you've waved to every sing for 3 years and would genuinely panic if someone asked you to introduce them to a friend right now. That's not neglect. That's not you being a bad person. And it is almost certainly not what you've quietly assumed it means is about you. Let me tell you what's actually happening. Think about the last time you met someone at a party or a work thing or anywhere with that low-level social pressure humming in the background. You probably remember what they said about their job, the weird take they had on something, maybe the specific way they laughed, whether it was easy and real or whether it was the performed version. You might remember a thing they mentioned about their sister that was a little more honest than they probably meant it to be. But their name? Gone before you made it to the kitchen. Now think about your actual baker, the one at the coffee shop or the bread counter or wherever you go. You'd recognize them anywhere. Because baker isn't just a word. It's a whole cluster. Flour, warmth, early mornings, the smell of something just out of the oven. Your brain has somewhere to put it. A name doesn't have anywhere to go. James isn't a concept. It doesn't trigger an image, a feeling, an association, anything you already know. It's just a sound, and a sound with no home in your memory doesn't stay. Psychologists documented this in 1987, what they called the Baker-Baker paradox. Same word, 2 different groups. One told it as a job, one told it as a surname. Days later, the occupation was remembered significantly more easily. Because meaning sticks. Arbitrary sounds don't. Your brain isn't broken. It's doing exactly what it was built to do. It's just that names are a terrible format for the kind of information it actually keeps. But the cognitive load is only half of it. The other half is something most people never think to connect to name forgetting. And it's a lot more personal. For a lot of people who forget names, the problem isn't just that the name has no home. It's that when the name is being said, they're not fully there yet. Think about what's actually running in your head during an introduction. Someone walks up. Your name comes out before you've fully landed in the moment. And underneath the smile, there's a quieter broadcast going. Am I making enough eye contact? What do I do with my hands right now? Did I say that weirdly? Are they already bored? The name gets said, your ears catch it, and your internal monologue just rolls straight over it. There's a phenomenon called the next in-line effect, documented in the 1970s, where people waiting for their turn to speak in a group retained significantly less of what the person just before them said, because they weren't really listening. They were already preparing, already one step into what comes next. Some people live in that state during every introduction they've ever had, never quite here. Always half a step ahead into the response. And the name, the one piece of information that requires you to be fully present for about 2 seconds, gets lost in the gap. Now let's talk about the embarrassment. because that part is real, and it compounds in ways nobody really talks about. For some people, it doesn't even require a crowd or a party. It happens in a quiet hallway. Someone says their name, you smile, you nod, and by the time you've taken 3 steps away, it's already gone. Not faded, gone. Like your brain decided the transaction was complete and quietly filed nothing. You know the moment. You're somewhere you didn't expect to see them. Grocery store, an airport, a party. They spot you first. Their face opens up. They say your name. And in the half second before you respond, your brain does a full sprint. Face, yes. Context, yes. What you talked about last time, yes. Name, nothing. Total blank. So you perform. You smile a little wider than you need to. You lean hard into, oh my God, hey! You're warm, maybe warmer than usual, as if enthusiasm can quietly paper over the gap. And on the drive home, you replay it and feel vaguely like a bad person. The worst version is when they go to introduce you to someone else in that moment. Do you know my friend? And there it is. The half-beat pause. The only option being, I'm so sorry, remind me of your name, and watching whatever crosses their face when you say it. So somewhere along the way, you built a system. You stopped saying anyone's name out loud unless you were completely certain. You learned to redirect. You got fluent in dude and hey, you, and oh my God, girl, deployed with enough casual warmth that it just sounds like your personality. Some people spend years, decades, in jobs where they meet hundreds of new people. Retail, hospitality, service. They develop whole quiet dialects of warm, nameless address. Sweetie. Han, my friend. Not rudeness. Not even really a quirk. Just functional, private survival. And underneath all of it, the redirects, the extra warmth, the careful avoidance, there's a story you've been telling yourself. That forgetting names means something. That it means you're not really paying attention. That it means people don't fully register with you. That story is what I want to pull apart. Here's what I actually want you to understand about how your brain works. Because this is the part nobody tells you. Because here's what your brain was actually doing while you were forgetting the name. It was tracking. The slight hesitation before they answered your question. The way their energy shifted when a certain topic came up. Whether their laugh was easy or whether it had a little performance in it. The thing they said that stuck, not because it was dramatic, but because it was more honest than people usually are in small talk. You pick up on things most people don't even register as data. You might not know their last name. You might not even be fully confident about their first, but you remember the exact look on their face the afternoon the project fell through. You remember which of your friends goes quiet when they're actually upset versus when they're just tired. You remember your coworker's coffee order, the name of their dog, the offhand thing they said about their sister 3 months ago that they've probably forgotten they told you. You can describe someone's car in detail, the color, the year, the small scratch near the handle, and not be able to tell someone what they're called. Your brain is an emotional archivist. It keeps detailed records on feeling, on pattern, on the texture of who someone actually is, and it quietly files the label as low priority data. Research in cognitive psychology suggests this kind of associative, emotionally weighted memory tends to accompany stronger social sensitivity and pattern recognition. You don't remember less, you sort differently. And that sorting happens faster than conscious thought, before you've had any say in it. This is also why the face memory thing is almost universal among people like you. You can recognize someone from a single meeting years ago across a crowded room from an angle, because faces carry pattern, emotion, context. Everything your brain is wired to hold. Names carry none of that. You're not cataloging the label. You're cataloging the person. The label just didn't make the cut. You can get better at this. Repeat the name the moment you hear it, out loud, in a sentence. Link it to a face you already know, a word it sounds like, something it connects to. You're building by hand the bridge your brain refused to build automatically. It takes a beat more than it takes most people. That's fine. But before any of that, the quiet story underneath all of this needs to go. The story that forgetting names means you're absent, that people don't fully land with you, that it's a flaw you just have to manage for the rest of your life. It isn't a flaw. It's a particular wiring, and wiring isn't a verdict. The people whose names you can't keep are the same people you'd recognize across a crowded room. The same people you remember things about. Specific things, real things, that they've probably forgotten they told you. The same people you'd notice something was off with, even if they said they were fine. You weren't absent. Your brain was just keeping the parts of them that couldn't be handed over in 2 syllables at a loud party. If this landed, if you've been carrying that quiet guilt around longer than you realized, share this with someone who always says they're bad with names. They'll know exactly what you mean. A name is what someone was called before they became a person to you. Everything after that, that's what you kept.